This is Zay Brooks.
This is Brennan Wheeler.
I'm Josh Wheat.
Kevin Warren.
And you're listening to...
You're listening to
the Extended Family Podcast. Let's go. What's up, everybody? It's your host, Ricky Delgado Martinez, and you're listening to another episode of the Extended Family Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Really excited for today's episode for two reasons. The first one is we just released some new cover art for the podcast, and I love it. So shout out to my guy, Calvin Drossi, for doing that. I appreciate it. Brought what I wanted to do to life. So thank you very much, Cal. And number two, my guest today, we've been wanting to do this for a while. Just the timing has never worked out because of work and just different things. But this is the guest I've been talking about that I met back in November. And we were both at the same birthday party for our buddy. And I sat down across from him and we got to talking. And I realized that I was kind of interviewing him as I was talking, and he kind of pointed that out too. And I figured I had to have him on the podcast. I had to get him on. So he's from Mission Viejo, California, and he's currently serving in the United States Marine Corps. Braden Kooiman, how you doing, man?
Good.
How's everything going?
It's good, man. It's been good. Been busy, but it's kind of like calming down now. I'm actually getting out soon, so I'm starting like my transition period.
Okay.
For like going back to civilian life. So just kind of been preparing for that and like seeing what's out there,
How much longer do you have?
I'm trying to get out in March.
Okay.
The end of my contract is actually in May. But you're able to like, there's a program you're able to like get out earlier if you have like a certain amount of leave days saved up. And so I'm trying to get out like March is my goal time frame.
So what are, like you said, like you're transitioning into like the role of being a civilian. What are all those things that the Marines have you do? Like, what's the process to transition out, I guess? Yeah.
So you'll check it. You're doing like a checkout process. So like I'm turning in all like my issued equipment that's given to me, like your flak, your Kevlar, like de-issuing my rifle, all that stuff. And then you just go around like to pretty much each shop, and you're like checking out, like telling them like, hey, I'm getting out. What do I need to do? All this stuff. And it's not like a crazy process, but it's definitely like time consuming. And then pretty much just been like getting set up with school, using the GI Bill, looking for jobs, looking for places to live, stuff like that.
Okay. So you think school's probably like next for you, what you want to do?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to do wildland firefighting.
Okay.
So I've been talking to Chris a lot about it actually. And I'm trying to do that, go to school at the same time, and then transition into city firefighter. And I feel like that would be like a good, kind of transition for me, because I feel like that's kind of like similar to like the Marine Corps, that like brotherhood style, and it won't be like that hard to adjust, because it's really hard for like a lot of vets adjusting to civilian life, just because like it's different, that brotherhood, that camaraderie is not there anymore. And a lot of them like feel like real alone, and like they get like, they get in like a dark place in their life. So I feel like that's like a good transition for me to go, get like a similar type of thing. So it makes that easier.
Yeah, because then it kind of gives you something to do. Like to continue to, I guess, like have a purpose, or to live with something. So no, that's cool. Do you kind of have any idea what you're trying to think about studying, or like going into? I know you want to do the like the fire path, but is there like a specific route that you have to go as far as a degree?
So you can have like pretty much any degree you want. I'm trying to do like a fire science degree. So right now I'm trying to get up like my paramedic first. So like a paramedic takes around like 2 years, and then a fire science also takes around 2 years. And for the GI Bill, you get 36 months of school, like provided by the government. So I feel like that would be like pretty much perfect. I can get my paramedic and my fire science, for free.
So how long have you been serving? Because I remember we talked a lot that night.
Yeah, we did.
It was just a while ago. I can't really remember. So you're gonna have to tell me how long again were you serving?
So I've been in for 7.5 years, like a little bit longer than that.
And as you kind of like I mean, I guess when everyone gets to like the end of something, they do a lot of reflecting on everything.
Oh yeah,
How are you feeling about like the 7 years that you've been in?
it's definitely like really bittersweet for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love the Marine Corps a lot. Like a lot of people like they don't like it, they hate it, you know, they talk bad about it. But I feel
Why?
like I just think their attitude, their mindset is wrong. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like this is not a easy like job by any means. You know, like and there's way more bad days than there are good days. But it's like the people around you. There's nothing else like that. You know, there's like you're in the suck, but like you're in it with like your boys. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I feel like that makes like this bond, like you're so tight knit with each other because of like all these things you've been through together and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, yeah, it's super bittersweet for me just because like I know 100% I'm gonna miss it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but you know it's time for me to like move on,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I'm kind of like done with the Marine Corps itself,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to move on and you know branch out, do other things,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it, and like I know for a fact that I'm gonna be like hurting when I get out, like bummed, you know, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
miss it and all that. I'm like preparing myself for that, you know, cause just because like it's just like anything, you know, like when you think about high school, you know, all you think about is like the good times you had with like your friends or in class, like the funny moments and stuff. You don't really think about like the time you spent studying or like you were stressed out, whatever. It's like that to me. You know, you're looking back and all you see is like the good memories. You don't really remember like all like the bad things, all the times it sucked, you know.
So you
So
talked about how you were, how close you are with the guys around you and how it is like a brotherhood. What is the like the response from people who aren't leaving service, from people who are still in it? Like, is it a positive response? Are they happy for you, or how does that work?
so okay, yeah. They talk a lot of crap. They you know they're like, oh, you know, because they don't want me to get out, like all like
Mm-hmm.
the people that I work for. um it's hard to like, even like for me too, when you know other people were getting out, it's like, you know, it's hard to see like good people leave,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like it's hard to come by like people that like kind of fit like the whole pie, that like do you know everything well and like have a great personality, and like they're willing to work really hard for you and all that stuff. So they're like they're upset at me because I'm getting out, but at the same time like they only want what's best for me. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll talk, you know, they're trash, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they're like, you know, you need anything, you need, you know, you let us know, you call whatever, like we got you no matter
Mm-hmm.
what.
How
So
long have you been with this group of people? Because I mean, and I'm sure we'll talk about this. Probably we'll go back to basic training. But are you still
mhm.
with the same group that you were in basic, or are you still with the same group that you were in with basic training, or how?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
And
with
how long
different
have you been?
people.
Okay, how long have you been with this current group?
I've been stationed here where I'm at right now in Camp
Mhm.
Pendleton. In August of 2017 is when I checked in here.
Okay.
So it's been, was that like 4 years now? Yeah, it's been
Mhm.
like almost 4 years that I've been here. 3.5 years.
Okay. So with like the reminiscing of, the past 7 years, can you just talk a little bit about, like just your background and how you ended up making the decision to join the Marines?
Okay. Yeah, so I grew up in Mission Viejo, California. I went to Capo High School, and I was not a good student. Like I did
Mhm.
not care about school. Never really like tried. I never put in like the extra effort, you know. So average student, like C's, stuff like that, and played lacrosse. I loved lacrosse. That was like my passion. And when it came, you know, senior year coming around, you start thinking about your future and stuff. I was like, I didn't have the money to go like to school, so I was trying to like look at other options. I was like, okay, doing like firefighting was another goal that I had, um, something that I was weighing out. But then, you know, I was like looking at schooling and like how much schooling would cost. I'm like I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to be
Mhm.
an 18-year-old in mountains of debt. And my dad, he was also a Marine, and that was something that I've always like looked up to
Mhm.
and kind of admired. And so then I was like, you know, like what about the military? I could do the military. Like I feel like I got that personality, that type that I would fit in well. So I like logged on to or not logged on, but went on the Marines website, entered in my information. Then like 2 days later, boom, getting a call from a recruiter,
Mhm.
and then went in, got my scheduled an appointment to go have a little sit down talk with him, and then that was the rest is history. Like that was it. That was it. I fucking signed it
So
right then and there. And
are recruiters are they pretty what is it like do they try to get in contact with you a lot, try to like to pull you to their
oh
side?
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Does it
yeah.
ever get annoying?
It's all a game. It's
Mhm.
all a game. They like the recruiting school. They literally like teach you like this is the best way. Like you're selling the Marine Corps at the end of
Mhm.
the day. Like I'm a product or I'm a consumer, and they're trying to sell the Marine
Mhm.
Corps the product to me.
Mhm.
And so like they kind of go through that. That school is kind of like that. Like Wolf of Wall Street. Sell me this pen.
Mhm.
They're like, sell me the Marine Corps. And yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of the Wolf of Wall Street, I just saw he was talking about something as far as like GameStop. I don't know if you've seen the news about GameStop
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
past week. I mean, that's just crazy, but he was just like,
That is.
yeah, it's finally like a win for the little guy. I mean, I
Yeah, it
still
is.
really don't understand the what happened with GameStop. I mean, I know a little bit. I mean, I'm just not smart enough, to know about
Yeah.
stocks, but
Yeah.
I thought it was like just pretty funny just because like it pissed a lot of like the hedge fund people off.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the elite, I guess they
Mhm.
not like their money getting messed with. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I saw like one kid, he made like 15 million off the stock because he had all of his savings in it. And I was,
That's wild.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's crazy too, because when you think of a store like GameStop, like I never would have, you never expect a store like GameStop. I mean, everyone knows like GameStop has that smell. Like
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
walk in, like there's just something about it. And now it's a damn near Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, you're
But
trying to sell them your PlayStation, your
mhm,
PS4, like in really good condition. The like best we can do is $5.
yeah.
You're like, are you
Mhm.
serious right now? It's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm. But you were talking about like in high school, you were playing lacrosse,
yes,
and
sir.
I never played lacrosse. We never had that. I was never exposed to it as a kid. And the first time I heard about lacrosse was the whole Duke incident. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, with that one. But so,
Yeah.
can you kind of like explain like this might sound bad, but like the point of lacrosse or what you're supposed to do?
Yeah. Okay. So, um, all the position. So there's 10 people on the field, or no, sorry, 10 people from each team on the field at a time. So 20 total. All the positions are the same as soccer. So you have your goalie, you have 3 defenders, your 3 midfielders that are able to cross the midfield plane and like play the whole field, and then your 3, we call them attack, but I think in soccer they're called forwards.
Mhm.
Um, and those are like your offensive guys.
Okay. And so like, I mean, what's
And
like the best like lacrosse strategy, I guess, like to go off like,
oh man, I don't even know. It's a super fast paced game. It's like as fast paced as I mean soccer, and I would say it's like soccer and hockey like had a baby, and
okay.
that's like lacrosse.
Can
So
you like
super
hit
fast
people?
paced, very very physical,
Uh-huh.
and there's just like a lot of things going on at all times.
So like you can like run
And
up and just like hit somebody, like kind of like in hockey.
yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Okay.
There's like rules, whatever. Like
Uh-huh.
you have to like keep your hands together when you like hit someone.
Okay.
That was the rules when I played. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
changed now, but like if you just like went up with like your stick and like crossed some dude, like that's like you can't do that. Can't hit
Mhm.
anyone in the head, and then pretty much like that's it. You don't hit anyone in the head, and you can't like just run up and smack some dude with your
Mhm.
stick. Like you had to be fist closed,
Uh-huh.
and then it was fair game for the like as far as I was concerned. I
Mhm.
was I was super dirty player. I had the most penalties in the league.
There we
So,
go.
so
You
I
got you
was
got
a
to lead
fiend.
the league in something. Might as well be
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
I guess how would you be dirty in a lacrosse game?
So okay, yeah. So I was position. It was called long stick midfielder.
Okay.
So there's 2 types of sticks in lacrosse. Well, 3. The goalie has his own stick. Um, the defenders they have 6-foot poles, and then everyone else has 3 feet poles. Like so, midfielders and attack guys they have 3-foot poles, but defenders have 6-foot poles. I was a long stick midfielder, so I had a 6-foot pole, but I was able to run. I was able to play defense and offense with it.
Okay.
And so I would be like standing, defending my guy, whatever, and the butt of my stick I would touch their their shorts, and if you rolled it, it would like roll their shorts up, and I would pants them on the field.
Okay.
So like the ball's starting to like come towards us, I would shoot and pants them real quick.
And they no longer care about the ball.
I take off. So then they're trying to like pull up their pants, and then other things too, like, you know, you're wearing your helmet and stuff, you know, they're trying to like watch what's going on. I would put my stick in front of their face. And so like they're like, you know, swatting me, and I'm like, what's up? Like what, you know, and like, what are you gonna do? And I was just like, I was
just egging them on.
I was like the epitome of like an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just, what's up, man? Like, what's up? Like,
well, every team needs one of those.
I wanted to get in their head and like mess with it. I wanted them to lose their focus.
Yeah. Well, it seems like just like the roll down with the stick, I feel like that takes a lot of practice to get right, because the margin for error, there's really no margin for error right there. Yeah, and that's like when like we'd be practicing, and you know, if they're doing a play but you're not in the play, you're standing off on the sideline, you're like watching. It's like something you walk up to your boys, you start practicing that stuff, and you're just horsing around during practice. Like, okay.
And so and it's like, you know, that's where I like kind of would practice it out, like try it out, whatever. And then when it came to like game time, just, you know, throw them down real quick, and they're like scrambling to get their pants back up. They're all embarrassed and stuff. It's hilarious. So when you first got into lacrosse, was it through school, or do they have like lacrosse like travel teams? They have both. But I first got into it, I was in 7th grade, and one of my best childhood friends, his name's Logan. I've known him since I was in kindergarten. He started playing, and I went to one of his games one time, and I was like, this is super cool. Like I would like to like do this sport. And I kind of like fell in love with it right then and there, and then started playing 7th grade, 8th grade, and then all through high school. So on a high school campus, what like the ranking system, I think, you know, football is probably number 1 for a lot of high schools that has football. Yeah, for sure. And then basketball might be number 2. Where would lacrosse fall in the level of, you know, how big it is? I would say it wasn't like no, people weren't going to see our games. Like, you know, like everyone at school, like, oh, football's playing tonight, let's go to the game. Like it's an event. Like people don't do that for lacrosse. You know what I mean? Like, I would say we're like average. We're like middle sport. Okay. You know, people like look at you that like they have like a kind of understanding about what lacrosse is. They like respect you because like it's really fast paced and it's really physical. So like they're like, you know, you're not like a chess player or whatever. Okay. No offense to the chess players out there, but you know what I mean? Like you're not looked at like a nerd, but you're you know, you're like respected. But like people aren't going to no lacrosse games and stuff. Okay. Well, I think I would hope it's average. I would hope. Well, I'm going to rank it above soccer. I'll just rank it above soccer, because I think I'd rather watch a lacrosse game than a soccer game. Yeah. But no, that's crazy. But I always like you were talking about high school football. Did you play football at all, or like what's the lacrosse season then? It's spring. It's it's in the spring. Yeah. So you had nothing in the fall. You're just getting ready for lacrosse. Yeah, I mean, we had like a preseason. So it's just like the school's getting together and just seeing where they're at, and then like you're preparing for like actual season, but like nothing counts or whatever. So I would do preseason, and then preseason lacrosse, and then actual like class lacrosse that like counted. You know what I mean? In school. And so that was like, because you were talking about how earlier, like, you know, you said you weren't that good of a student, you know, all, you know, throughout your whole education, but like being able to play lacrosse, was that like a good balance to where it was like, all right, I want to play lacrosse, so therefore I have to at least put in some effort in the classroom? Yes. And I kind of wish that I like knew better. Like if I could see my like 16-year-old self in the face or in person, I would slap him in the face. You know, it's like, do better. You know, you're missing opportunities because I get you. Like you're a bad student. You're a great athlete, but you're a bad student. Like you can get a scholarship, you know, like you can get a scholarship if you get looked at, but you need good grades to do that, you know, because lacrosse it's not like football. You can have terrible grades, but be a fantastic athlete. And, you know, people will be like, they'll recruit you or whatever.
They'll fix
Lacrosse isn't like that.
They might fix the little C to a B maybe.
Yeah, right.
They might
right?
help you out there. Yeah.
Yeah, but like lacrosse, you need both. You need the good grades and you need like the good athleticism. At least like in my experience, like knowing people that did get scholarships, they needed both.
Okay. So growing up, I played football, basketball, baseball. I played golf in high school, and
Nice.
as never playing like lacrosse, I'm like there's different things that you learn and you pick up from every different sport, lessons, different things that you're going to take with you. For you, what is something that like lacrosse gave you that you're still able to just like implement on a daily basis, or maybe just remind yourself of something that, is of importance to you?
I would say it helped my work ethic like a bunch because like I hate losing like with a passion. I don't like losing at all. And it, in my opinion, it kind of like brought out a little bit of leadership in me that I didn't know I had. So I was like the clown, like the class clown, whatever, I was always goofing off. I was never taking anything serious. And then when it came like game time, I became like super serious. And I set like a bad example off the field, because I never, I was the one that was getting yelled at constantly. Pay attention. What are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Take a lap. I think it really helped out my like work ethic and really brought out like a kind of leadership that I didn't know I had, because people like saw what I did on the field and like they looked up to that. They wanted to work harder because like I would murder myself on the field. I was like, game time, like, yeah, I'm a clown, but like as soon as we were playing for real, I'm playing for real, and like everyone else better take this serious.
Yeah, the light turned on.
This is when it matters. As I flip that switch, like this is like it's time to pay attention. And if like we were off the field while the game was going on and people were laughing and joking, I'd like, I'd yell at them and like, what are you doing? Pay attention. Like, what, blah, 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 blah. But like, I was like a total hypocrite because practice, I was that guy. But like people looked up to me for that. And my senior year, they like wanted me to be a captain. I was like baffled that I was like, why? Like, why do you want me to be a captain? Like, I don't take it seriously. I'm a goofball, And our coach at the time, he wanted us to write a 5-paragraph essay on, why we deserve to be a team captain. And so I gave him a paragraph. I was like, my teammates, they nominated me. I don't understand why, but like if I'm accepted into this role, like I will treat it that way. I would take it seriously and I will not let my teammates down. And it was like maybe 4 sentences. And the rest of the dudes that were like nominated, they're like, dude, I stayed up all night. I was freaking out about my essay that I had to write.
And you just do something together.
I was like, check mine out. And they're like, well, you're not gonna get picked. You're not gonna get picked. And then I did. And then like, yeah, after that, like
that's really when the behavior started to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause that was going to be my next question. I was like, as somebody who goofs off, it's like, how do you go into the Marines like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next
one. First off, I goof off all the time and I hate being told what to do. So like the Marine Corps obviously was the perfect choice. And yeah, it was definitely an adjustment, man. Definitely had to have a slice of humble pie. And like, I'm not as cool as I think I am. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Yeah. So can you kind of talk about like your mindset before you signed the letter to enlist? Because, I always think like there's all like before you do a big, like a big life decision, there's, the feeling you have before, and then there's the feeling you have after. Can you just talk about like the feeling you had before, and then ask you about the feeling, how you felt after?
So before I was pretty stressed out because like, by like when you're 18, everyone's like, what do you want to do with your life? Like time to grow up, what do you want? You want to go to school? You want to do this? You're an adult now. So I was kind of freaking out about that because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was like, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. My mind was all over the place. It wasn't until like I sat down with a recruiter and he like sold me, and he's like, yeah, what do you want? You could do this job in the Marine Corps. Like, what do you like to do? Oh, you like working on cars? You like doing this? Like, guess what? Like, Marine Corps got vehicles. You could be a mechanic. I was like, oh, really? And like, and talked about the benefits of being in, the benefits when you're out, like the GI Bill, all that stuff. I kind of just like sat there and I absorbed everything. Gave me the little pamphlets and stuff like that. And that night I went home and I'm eating dinner with my parents. And I was like, hey, like, can I talk to you guys about something? And they're like, yeah, like, sure, what's up? I was like, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. And my mom, it was like, she like threw her fork down, started like crying. And she's like,
He wasn't happy.
Why? And she was not stoked at all. And then my stepdad, he was like, oh, like, you know, he was way more, what's the word I'm looking for? Accepting of it. And I've laid it all out. Like, I pretty much everything the recruiter told me, I told them. And I was like, you know, this is like the benefits. Like, this is what I would like to do. This is what I can do when I get out, blah, blah, blah. And my mom's like, you're not going to be in the infantry. Like, I refuse. So my real dad, he was in infantry and like, went to war and all that. And like, he was all messed up afterwards. So she like, didn't want that to happen to me. It's like, I refuse. You're not going to be in the infantry, whatever. I was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't got to be in the infantry. I just, you know, I could do other jobs that can like relate.
Do you get to choose like what job, or how does that work? Okay.
Kind of. So there's like brackets. And you're like, I want to be a mechanic. And then there's like, you know, there's aircraft mechanics, there's helicopter mechanics, heavy equipment mechanics. That's what I am. So people that like, I fix bulldozers, like, and then motor T mechanics. So the dudes that like drive the Humvees and the 7-tons that you see in like movies, like those guys. So it's like, yeah, I want to be a mechanic. And then you kind of like go into a certain slot of like types of mechanics you can be. And I don't know exactly how like the selection process goes, but pretty much you're telling them like, I'm interested in this field right here. And then the Marine Corps does what it does. And like, you know, some people don't get what they want at all. Some people like, you know, I want to be an aircraft mechanic. They like try to sign up for an aircraft mechanic, and the next thing you know, they're a cook. And it's like, it doesn't matter. You know, you sign that dotted line, you know, up to including your life for 4 years. So, you know, sucks. You're a cook.
Do people have like being a part of the infantry? Is that like some of the people's like number one what they want to do?
Yeah, it's the most popular job, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
So I can't remember what it is. I might get my numbers mixed up. Yeah, okay. No, 70% of the Marine Corps is infantry, and then 30% is supporting elements for the infantry. Okay. So like or maybe vice versa. I can't remember exactly. Don't quote me. Either like 70% or 30% are infantry, and then the other are the supporting element. But at the end of the day, like, our job is to support the infantry. Like myself being non-infantry, that's my job at the end of the day.
But I would still assume that like your mindset doesn't change though, because it doesn't matter for you if you're part of the infantry or you're not. You're there to do one job, and that's to help out the full 100% of it, right?
Yeah. It's all big picture.
Okay. So so we just talked about like how you felt before. What was that feeling for you after, once you signed the dotted line and you said, hey, you're, you know, I'm with you for the next 4 years?
It was like, once I was actually like I was like, this is like, I was dead set, signed up. I had my boot camp date, everything like that. It was like, it was a relief, but also I was nervous. So like, I was super relieved. Like, you know, I know what I'm going to do with my life, but also like, you know, now it's like boot camp. And so I was super relieved that like I had finally like set a goal for myself. And then also I was like nervous to hit that next goal. You know, it's like, now you're going to boot camp, and like everyone, like pretty much everyone knows about like Marine Corps boot camp, you know, it's crazy, whatever. So it was preparing for that.
Okay. Is it kind of like how, I mean, I hate making the comparison because because I've never lived like through the boot camp experience, but the best one I could maybe say is either like from Jarhead, like that boot camp sequence.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. Dude, I can't even tell you how many times I watched that movie.
I love that movie.
It's so funny. Yeah. That's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
Okay.
when he's drawing the whatever, he's drawing like boxes on the chalkboard, and he's like talking bad to him. and slapping him in the back of the head. And he's like, why did you even sign up? And he's like, I got lost on my way to college, sir. And he like grabs his head and slams against the chalkboard. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. And then Don't Worry, Be Happy plays afterwards. It's like perfect. Like that's exactly what it is.
So, damn, I had a really good question that I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. This happened. Shit, what was it? I can't even remember. I shouldn't have asked about Jarhead because it was like right in my head. But okay, so okay, here we go. So yeah, growing up and like I'm from Merced, and the area that we drive by a lot. There's I think it's a Marine recruiting center, and this is kind of leading into. I want to ask like what you did to prepare yourself for basic training, because a lot of times when, I'd be with my mom when I was a kid and we drive by, we'd see the people out there, or like the recruits out there, and they were running, getting their miles in. And it was always cool for me as a kid to see that, because my mom usually always one of the people who were running one of the recruits were one of her former students. So as a teacher, she was always happy to see that they were doing something with their life, because she taught in the hood pretty much. So what was it like, for you to get ready for basic training?
It was like a mental thing. So like my recruiter, he knew I played lacrosse, all that. He went to like some of my games, watched me and stuff. He's like,
oh, he really wanted you.
Yeah. He called me his golden child.
There we go.
But he was like, as far as like physical wise, like you're good. You don't really need to prepare. You just need to prepare like mentally for what is going to happen. And I did my lacrosse thing, was in shape for that. And then every Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, we would meet at the little recruiting center, like how you saw the kids, and then PT there with them.
Okay.
And it was like, running or like CrossFit type exercises. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you start to build like that brotherhood with those first people that you're interacting with when you're running and doing all the basic stuff before you leave?
Yeah, definitely. Because like, you all have like the same goal, it's all to be Marines, and you're all pushing yourselves to do better, be better.
So how many
definitely started.
How many like basic training locations are there that you could be sent to?
There's only 2. So
okay, there's only 2.
Yeah, and it's split up by the Mississippi River. So if you're on the west side of the Mississippi, you go to San Diego.
Okay.
And then if you're on the east side of the Mississippi, you go to Parris Island.
Okay, where's Parris Island?
And then also if you're a female, you go to Parris Island no matter what.
Okay.
So there's no females on San Diego. There's only females in Parris Island.
Okay, where's Parris Island?
It's in South Carolina.
Okay, and then the one here in California, San Diego, that's Camp Pendleton, right?
No, so I'm in Camp Pendleton.
Okay, right, that's where you're at right now. Okay,
yeah, so that's like Oceanside area, and then like an hour south from here is San Diego, and that's where. That's where like boot camp is there.
Okay, where do they do what camp is it where they do the like the Navy SEAL training at?
That's,
if I
want to say that's Coronado Island.
Okay.
I don't know exactly.
I think
it's in San Diego somewhere though.
Okay, let me see. I might as well I have Google open right here. I'm gonna look it up. I'm interested now. I was thinking about asking you like where the locations, because I just I'm doing the David Goggins challenge, the run that he has, the 4x4x48. I'm doing that, which
that's gnarly, man.
I'm really nervous about it. I mean, I'm not a runner, but I mean, yeah, easy. I'm not a runner, but I'm really excited like to do it.
Dude,
me and my buddy,
you could totally do it, bro.
Yeah,
you can totally do it.
I'm excited to do it. I did a 5K yesterday, 3.1. It was nice. But yeah, I can't even find anything. I don't even know what I'm looking for at this point.
My mom sent it to me, and she's an ultra marathon runner. Yeah, yeah, she's an ultra marathon runner. So she does like 150-mile races. So it's like she'll go 36 hours of just running. Like she's badass. She's hardcore.
That is badass.
She sent it to me. She's like, "You want to do this with me?" And I was like, No, I don't.
That's my thing. I want to like after I do this, I really want to get oh yeah, it is Coronado. Yeah, I could have
Okay,
just
cool.
I made that way more difficult. But I want to like within the next 2 years, and we'll get back to what we were talking about. But I'm trying to run a marathon. Like that's what I'm trying to
Nice.
get to in the next 2 years. And the 5K was a start, and then the David Goggins thing will be number 2. But
Yeah.
the only thing I'm worried about is like running at like 4 a.m. You know, but other than that though, I'm not too worried. It'll be okay. But
Yeah.
but no, so where were we? Oh, so I asked you. Here we go again. I'm forgetting. I asked you where we were. Oh, so here we go. How was basic training? Pretty simple question. How was it?
So the goal of basic training is to treat you like a prisoner of war for 3 months while also breaking you down. So like everyone, you get all types of people from all different walks of life. Everyone grew up different. Everyone has their own story.
Mm-hmm.
The Marine Corps doesn't care about that. The Marine Corps wants you to be a Marine. So they're going to strip you away of everything that you were before, and then they're going to build you into what they want you to be, which is a Marine, and so, okay, looking back at boot camp, it was the funniest experience of my life. It's the funniest place you're not allowed to laugh, but during boot camp, it's miserable. It's so terrible. They say like before you go in, you live chow to chow and Sunday to Sunday. So you get 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you got to live chow to chow. Like you wake up right in the morning, 5:30 a.m. and it's already insane. It's already hectic. You're running all over the place. You're doing all these things. And then you go to breakfast. It's like, all right, that boom, 1 meal done. Now I just got to make it to lunch. And then after breakfast, it's back to it. Just craziness. And then you get to lunch. You're like, all right, good. That one's done. I just got to make it to dinner. A bunch of craziness, go to dinner. And then you're like, that one's done. Like now I get to go to sleep sometime soon. And you get an hour of free time a night. And so
generous.
Yeah, very generous. So you get your hour of free time, and most people just sit there and write letters home and stuff like that. I was like in a leadership position, so I had to make sure that like my squad was ready for the next day. So they'll like tell you like all this needs to be done by tomorrow morning, and if Buddy doesn't do it, and I'm responsible for him, it's not only his fault, it's also my fault. So both of us get fucked up because he didn't do the thing he was supposed to.
Yeah. So how do you get picked for a leadership position like that, in a new class of Marines?
So when I was there, the dude, my drill instructor, he was like, who's motivated? And I raised my hand. Like a bunch of people raised their hand. And he's like, all right, you come up here. And like literally just pointed at me.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
So yeah. And that was it. And I stuck to it the whole time. People get like fired and stuff for messing up. And like, I almost got fired a couple times. And they'll be like, who's hungry? Who wants his spot? And all these people raise their hands and stuff. And then you're like, nah, fuck you. You're not gonna take my spot.
Yeah.
So
are there people when, that happens that are like they are very, I don't want to say disrespectful is not the right word, but like the jealousy comes out because you're in a leadership position, even in a group where, you're supposed to all be united.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's like any leadership position. You're going to have people that think they can do your job better than you until they get put in that role and they see, because like when it comes to being like a leader and then follower, when you're looking at this leader, you're looking at everything that he's doing wrong. That is all. You're not looking at everything he's doing as a whole. So yeah, like a dude that I would have to like, hey man, did you, do this thing? They'd be like, yeah, man, I did it. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have done it, and we would both get messed up for it. But then if they were to ask, who wants my job, that dude is raising his hand. It's like, you can't even accomplish like a simple task. Like, how are you going to try and take my spot?
So when you say they would mess you up, what is the mess you up part?
They'll IT you.
What does that mean?
What does IT stand for? I can't remember.
What does IT stand for?
Damn, I can't remember what IT stands for. But
IT
pretty much it's like
for in the military or in the Marines. I should have put that.
Yeah, I'll Google like Marine Corps IT.
Abbreviations. Here we go.
Perfect. Yeah, that's gonna be like a
Google
500-page
IT.
website.
Yeah. Doesn't. Oh, here we go. One of two matches. Nope. Still doesn't have it. IT. I don't know. You can keep talking while I look for it. Maybe I'll find something.
Okay. But pretty much like they haze you. So it's like you strip down, you take your blouse off, and like you got your cami bottoms on and your t-shirt, and they're like, push up, and then they count you. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and you gotta be like 1, 2, 3, 2, and you're doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's all like it's called Marine Corps count, and so you're doing 1, 2, 3, 1, but in reality you're doing like 3 push-ups or like so it's like 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3.
Oh, incentive training.
Yes, incentive training.
There we go. Incentive training. This is a bogus term to use. Oh wait, no, that wasn't it. Oh, this is a bogus term to use instead of using the term punishment. IT is punishing a recruit or enlisted personnel for some infraction. It's negative punishment / reinforcement with the intention of providing a negative incentive not to commit the infraction again.
Yeah.
And then they say like 100 push-ups or like running.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So they'll, they just haze you. So it's like, push up, and then they'll be like sit-ups, side circle hops, which is jumping jacks, mountain climbers, like whatever. And you gotta like, they'll be like push ups, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, side circle hops. So like you're on the ground, then you got to jump up. They're like, so they'll be like side circle hops, and then side circle hops, and then they're blasting you like get up, get the fuck up, like, and then so you gotta like jump, and then you get up, and you're doing jumping jacks, and like get back down, get up, go over there, go over that way, good, just messing with you. Yeah. And then you're just drenched afterwards, like drenched in sweat. They'll take you to the dirt pit. They'll get you all nice and sweaty first, and then they make you like they'll put you on the ground. They're like kicking dirt all over you. So like afterwards you're just like caked in like all this dirt, and like, you're just messed up. So with the leadership position, I was in a similar leadership, not similar, but in a leadership position like you. People are going to be like, this is totally different, but I was an RA, right? And so resident advisor in one of the dorm rooms. And one of the things I had to do was I had to be like, when I try to compare this, I'm trying to say like you were the leader of your group and I'm the leader of like my group over here. When it comes to, when it comes to like holding people accountable, like maybe they broke a violation, maybe they're drinking in the room and they're not supposed to, and I have to come in as the bad guy. And, I was dealing with kids who were, 1 year younger than me. You're dealing with kids who are not only your age, but maybe a little bit older, younger as well. What would you do in a situation where you had to, lay down the law because, there was something that happened that needed to be addressed? Because I never was really comfortable with that when I was doing it, just because I was like, and I guess this is where it's different because these are college kids, and like they just made a mistake and I want them to learn from that. Whereas in the Marines, if you make a mistake, it could cost, something huge. So like, what would you do? When I was in boot camp, it was pretty much just like, it really brings out like your aggressive side, because like at the end of the day, I can't force this person to do anything. And it's like, I got their incentive to me, my like incentive to them was like, if you don't do this, like I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. Like that's it. And like no one's gonna stop me. I'm not gonna get in trouble. Like what are they gonna do to me for beating you up? They're gonna IT me and you also, so it's like either they're gonna IT us because you didn't do this simple task, or they're gonna IT us because I beat you the fuck up. And you still didn't do the task. So it's like, do what you're supposed to do, man. Like, that's it. Do what you're supposed to do. And we won't get IT'd. It's like, so yeah, that's kind of like what I would talk about, like say to them. That was like their incentive. And for like the older dudes, like, they were like adults, they knew how to like be an adult. So I had dudes that were like 20, 27 that I was 18. I was in charge of them. But it's like, they had that like respect, and they were cool. I respected them and they respected me. And it was the little 18-year-old kids that like, I had to be like, the fuck, man, like get your shit together.
How did you deal with the fact that you weren't able to communicate with your family on a regular basis?
So in the beginning, I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal at all. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get away, like, do my own thing, whatever. And then, like, especially being in boot camp and like being miserable all the time, you like all these things that you took for granted, you self-reflect and you're like, damn, like, I was a dickhead and I should have been more appreciative and, all these things. So it sucked for sure. And then like having to write letters was also crazy,
Mm-hmm.
especially in today's like society or
Did you do that
age.
a lot?
I didn't write a lot of letters, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just because like on my little hour of free time, I was
Mm-hmm.
busy making sure everyone did what they were
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
so I had like little time, and I would sneak sometimes, like, uh, go run into like the stall after,
Mm-hmm.
like after our free time was over at night. I would like wake up in the middle of the night and go. I'd write a letter, and then I'd give it to some kid in the morning. We usually like someone would give all the letters to like one kid in the morning, and he would sprint to the mailbox, drop them all off for us, and then sprint back and stuff.
Okay.
So
Did they ever like? I mean, for security purposes, do they screen letters at all?
no, yeah,
No.
they don't.
Okay.
The letters you get, they don't screen them, but like if it feels like a letter, like nothing's in there, then they'll
Mhm.
give it to you. But if it feels like there's something,
Then
they'll
they'll check.
they'll check it out. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So what was your role when you came out of boot camp? I know you talked about being a mechanic right now, but if
Mhm.
I remember correctly, you weren't always in this position. What was the role you had coming straight out of boot camp?
So after boot camp, you get 10 days off, and
Hmm.
then you go to the School of Infantry. So like,
Wait, real quick, what do you do in those 10 days off?
I
What were
mean,
you
you
doing?
get to go home.
Okay.
So go home, you see your family and all
Hmm.
that, which like, San Diego Mission Viejo wasn't hard for me to
Hmm.
come back home. And then you have 10 days off, and then you report back to School of Infantry. And for me that was here in Camp Pendleton. So I had 10 days, and you have to report here on this date at this time. So you got to make sure like you're all good by the time you go back. But the School of Infantry is like, so boot camp that teaches you how, or that makes you a Marine. Um, and then the School of Infantry teaches you like basic uh, infantry tactics. So like if you're a grunt, if you're in the infantry, your school is 3 months long. But if you're a pogue like me, someone that's not a grunt, it's only a month. And it's like just the basics of everything. So like patrolling, fighting positions, like all types of stuff. You shoot different machine guns. You shoot like 203, like grenade launcher. Um, what else? And then yeah, you do like a bunch of hiking, bunch of patrolling, just like basic infantry things.
Okay. What's your rank right now?
I'm a sergeant,
How
so
do
it's an
you move up?
E5.
How do you move up? I guess that's the question.
Um, so in the Marine Corps, yeah, each branch is different, but in the Marine Corps, E1 through E3. So you have private, and that's E1. Private first class is E2, and then Lance Corporal is E3. Those are all given to you. So just by time. So like if you join as a private, when by the time you hit your 6 month mark, you get promoted to private first class.
Hmm.
And then I think it's 9 months later, you get promoted to Lance Corporal. And then Corporal, which is E4, that's the first rank that you actually have to earn. And it's complicated if you're not in like trying to explain it, just because like
Yeah.
you don't know. But like pretty much what goes into you have a score, and each job in the Marine Corps comes out with a score every month that's like, hey, this is the score to get promoted to corporal. So like a 1600, right?
Hmm.
And what everything that goes into your score is like your PFT, which is a physical fitness test, your CFT, which is a combat fitness test, your rifle range score, your pros and cons. So like every month, I have to write about the people that I'm in charge of, and like pretty much just says like, this is what you're doing good, this is what you're doing bad, this is what you need to improve on. And then I judge them like as a whole, and I give them a score,
Hmm.
and it's out of five out of five for proficiency and for conduct.
Okay.
And proficiency is like how good are you at your job, and then conduct is like how do you conduct yourself. You know,
Okay.
so then I judge them out of 5. No one ever gets a 5 in the Marine Corps because there's always room for improvement. So no one ever gets a 5 because it's impossible to be perfect. And I'll judge them on that. So like if it's a really, really good dude, I'll give them like a 4.5 out of 5. And like that goes into your score as well. And then your time that you've been in, and then your time that you've been the rank you are now. So all of that, there's like a equation that like calculates all that, puts it together, and that's what gives you your score.
So what do you do, like, you know, on like your off time? Because like today, yeah, you're off today, right?
Yep.
So what do you like to do, you know, like pretty much in your free time?
Hang out, like just I don't know, just do me. Like I go boogie boarding a lot, just hang out with friends, family, do whatever.
How'd you get into boogie boarding?
I mean, I grew up surfing.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I grew up. I was surfing every once in a while, and I wasn't like, I'm not like crazy good by any means. I would like to say I'm average, but yeah, it's just like I don't have a surfboard just because like I already have like such a small space to live in as is. Like the last thing I need is like a surfboard hanging out around here. And I got into boogie boarding just because it's like it's similar, and I could just keep my boogie board in my car, and you know not worry about it. Just keep it in my trunk, and like it's there always if I ever want to just take off, hit the beach.
I think the last time I boogie boarded was like I think we went to Hawaii when I was like in 3rd grade, and I can't remember too much except for the fact that I probably boogie boarded in Hawaii. I can't remember that at all. But so like you have to do anything else? Like I mean, how do you learn? Like because I know like we talked about it too, and like you like learning things along with like being a mechanic, but like how do you like to learn like information?
I'm more of a hands-on learner.
Okay.
So like that's like you can sit there and you can explain it to me, and I'll have like a basic understanding about it. But once I do it, I will remember how to do it forever.
And that's probably like helpful being a mechanic. Now you just know.
Yeah, just like turning wrenches or whatever, and like over the years, obviously, you know, you hear a certain thing like this piece of equipment sounds like this way, and then like based on my experience, I could be like, oh, like I can make like an educated guess, like it's probably this thing right here that's wrong. And you know, then my mechanics will go check it out and be like, oh yeah, like that's what was wrong. Just because like I've had that experience over the years, like because you know it's like a car, like a basic model car. There's going to be like manufacturing issues, and like all of that will have like a specific problem, like that the manufacturer didn't like make that well, and so it's like easy to have a reoccurring problem with like different pieces of equipment. So like we'll have like one piece of equipment, but we have like 15 of them, you know? So it's like you're running into the same problem with like all these different ones. You're just gonna like learn from that and be like, oh yeah, like this breaks all the time on this piece of equipment. Check that first.
Okay. So now that you're like towards the end, as you're saying, you're trying to get out in March. I mean, you talked about, you know, what's next for you, but I remember we talked about it a little bit like in the first couple months before I guess you start. Cause I guess you said, I remember if correctly, you said you wanted to take like just a little break and like just relax for a little bit. Is that still true?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to take like 2 weeks to just like do nothing. Like just like be a bum and just watch TV all day or whatever. Like just do what I want, you know, and that's it. Just I want to take like a 2 week period where I could just like relax and like decompress and like get ready for my next step.
Do you ever see yourself kind of like becoming a advocate for, you know, Veterans Affairs?
Yeah, I could see that.
So like if you could just talk about that for a little bit, because you know, like we said, like I told you, my dad, he was a Marine, and he was able to get, you know, he was injured, able to get, you know, benefits with that. But like for a lot of Marines, we said, or even just a lot of people in the military, it's tough. It's a really tough transition for them.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain, you know, kind of why for somebody who doesn't know why, and then maybe, so let's start off with why, and then we'll go from there.
So, I mean, I can't really speak like
for everybody
personally because I'm not out yet, but like all my really close boys that I've gotten out had like a really hard transition just because it's like a big feeling of like loneliness. So like, I'm in the barracks right now. If I open my door and I screamed like, who wants to go get lunch? A bunch of people like, I'll go, like, let's go, like, let's dip. Or I could just like walk 2 doors down to my buddy's room and pound on it. What are you doing? Let's go do this. Let's go do that. So I feel like that's like the biggest like transition for them is like, it's like that brotherhood that it's not there anymore. So they're going to school. It's like, yeah, I go to work with these people. I see them all day, every day. And then when I get off work, I see them all day, every day. I'm constantly with the same people. I'm never not with them. I'm either by myself in my room or I'm hanging out with the same exact people. So I feel like that's like where they have the biggest problem, like adjusting, because if you go to school or if you go to work, like you do that and then afterwards you're by yourself. No people like, and well, not a lot of people in jobs or at school are like, what are you doing? Like, let's go kick it. Let's do this. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm with the same people from like the moment I wake up until I go to sleep pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So with your experience from like the people you've talked to, what do you think is missing? Just like in your opinion, what do you think is missing from like just the overall help of people who are no longer serving?
I would just say like lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
So, like sometimes my buddies that got out, they'll call me, but like I got a lot of shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't take their call right now. Like I'm busy working, and then I'll try and call them back, but they may be busy working and stuff like that. They just like a lack of like, sometimes it's just good to like sit there and talk on FaceTime with like your boy and like see him again. It's like, what's been going on with you? How's this? How's that? How's this? How's the Marine Corps? Like, oh, dude, fucking sucks, man. Like, how it goes. Like, yeah, I know. Like, I miss it. All that. So I feel like that's kind of where like a lot of vets like go into like a dark place just because they don't have that like that environment anymore.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking yeah. I mean, that's sad too. I mean, because you see like this, it's like the statistics and stuff.
Yeah.
And especially in like COVID right now, that's probably not helping with the isolation at all. Or
Yeah.
It isn't helping actually. Yeah. How are you guys, in the camp handling COVID? I guess that was like what else I wanted to ask you about.
It's super strict. So, they'll quarantine you. Like, so, say I go to a party and I'm hanging out with my boy and I find out later, he's like, yo, like he shoots me a text, like, I tested positive for COVID. Then I'll tell like my chain of command who like the people that are in charge of me, like, hey, this person that I was exposed to, they tested positive for coronavirus. And they'll be like, okay, like go to medical. So I'll go to medical and they'll be like, what happened? You tell them. They're like, all right, what are your symptoms? Like, I don't have any symptoms right now. They will still put me on lockdown for 2 weeks. So I'll be stuck in my room, not able to leave for 2 weeks because I'm not showing symptoms right now, that doesn't mean that I don't have it. And so they'll wait like a week. I'll be quarantined. Then they'll give me a date to go get tested. So that's like the only time I'm able to leave. I'll get tested, and then I come back and I keep being quarantined until I get my results back.
So are you guys kind of like in like your own like little bubble as far as like cases and everything? Like not a lot of stuff, like not a lot of cases because people are actually following like what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I know like a lot of the people that I work with directly, like some people got it and then, they got quarantined, they were good. And then some people like they didn't have it, but they still got put on lockdown.
Have you had it yet?
To be safe. No, I haven't had it.
No. Okay. Yeah, I haven't had it either. I always feel like, the day's coming. As much as, as bad as that is to say, I feel like the day is coming. But Okay, man. Well, I got two final questions to end the interview, man. I've enjoyed talking with you, and I got these two final ones I always ask everybody. Number one, what chore? We talked a little bit about you being a bad student. So let's see if you felt you did some chores at home. What was your least favorite chore when you were growing up? What chore did you hate to do the most?
I hated picking up the dog poop.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to pick up the dog poop, and then like, what else I have to do? I like clean like my bathroom. I do like I would have to like I mean just clean my own dish and then empty the dishwasher and like do my own laundry. But those aren't really like chores. It's like being a fucking adult. But yeah, picking up dog poop was like
I think for me growing up as a kid, I hated like having to fold clothes because it obviously it helped because I'm a weird person. I like to do my laundry now, but like as a kid, I had to do everybody else's laundry as well. So that was
I would
what
hate that.
I hated that.
Man.
But my mom
I would hate that.
My mom was always like, "Well, you live here, so you're gonna do it." And I
yeah,
all right, yeah, we'll do it. But yeah, so that was probably my favorite one. Dog poop wasn't too bad, except if I was over at my grandparents and they asked me because I think they had like 3 dogs at a time. So there was a lot out there. But okay. So then number 2, what's one habit that you have right now that you're trying to break if you have one?
Oh man. I've definitely been trying to like slow down on my drinking. Not like I'm not trying to break it necessarily, but I'm trying to just be like more responsible with it. So, I'm not trying to like get super wasted and act like a dickhead and like do crazy shit anymore. I'm trying to like mellow out and just like
that's a good habit.
Like like casually drink and like because I've definitely had like some wild nights just because of alcohol. So I'm trying to like mellow out on that, especially like getting out soon. Just like kind of chill.
What's your favorite thing to drink? I guess here's another question.
I like tequila a lot.
Tequila.
Yeah, I like tequila and I like Hennessy, and I know they're kind of like opposite sides of the spectrum. But like when it comes to like taking shots, I will take shots of tequila all day. And when it comes to like having drinks, I'll have like a Hennessy and Red Bull or like a Long Island.
Do you like whiskey?
I'm not a huge whiskey guy.
Okay.
But that's only because when I first started drinking, all my buddies drank whiskey, and like I have like way too many bad memories of just getting like too wasted and spending the night on the toilet because of whiskey.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like kind of like everyone has that one alcohol where like they sniffed like that's like all whiskey for me now is like ruined.
Yeah. See, that's kind of like it is like for me too. I had a couple or long when I first started, when I turned 21, when I could buy it, I wanted to go out and I wanted to buy Drake has a signature whiskey line, and I wanted to, buy it and try it, and brought it up to Chico, tried it, and I never opened up the bottle. Like I just let it sit. It tasted horrible. I wasn't a fan. Man. Never. But then it's funny going out with like my friends last year. It was always a whiskey Coke. That was just my thing,
Yeah,
that was a good combination. But what kind of beer do you like?
I like so my go-to is like if they have it, I will buy it every single time, no matter what. It's a Prankster. Prankster's it's like a kind of IPA. It's not super heavy. So it's like 7.9%, but like how a lot of IPAs they taste like a tree.
To be honest, I don't know. I don't really. I don't
know. Okay.
IPAs.
Yeah, to me, in my opinion, like most IPAs like taste like you're like, oh, I'm drinking like a tree that was blended up. Like it tastes like really hoppy, and it's like really filling. So like you drink like a couple IPAs and you feel super bloated. But like a Prankster is like more like a citrusy type of beer, and to me it doesn't have that like super like bloated feeling. And you have a couple and you feel good. So
okay,
that's like my favorite beer hands down.
See, I think my go-to is probably, I'm not drinking right now, just I'm doing this thing, but I probably lean more towards like Corona. Like that's probably what I like. Like I like the cheap stuff. But what was I gonna say? I like the cheap stuff, but yeah, I'm not. I mean, we have Sierra Nevada up here, and like that's huge. And all my Voss, all my other buddies, they loved it. And I just could never get behind it. But I don't know. There's just something weird about the IPAs. Like But
yeah, definitely not for everybody. Like, and it's whatever. Like, yeah, I'm always down for like a Corona with lime, or just a Corona in general.
What do you think about
Like,
White
to me, I
Claws?
just love beer. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of like my weakness. I'll drink a beer no matter what.
Yeah. What do you think about White Claws?
Uh,
I keep asking you questions, but
no, yeah, no worries.
no, we just keep rolling with it.
So when I was on deployment, White Claws came out. So I was in the Middle East.
Oh
and
shit!
and so
Where?
I still had like internet and Wi-Fi and stuff. But I went to Kuwait,
Okay.
Iraq, and Jordan on my deployment.
Shit.
And then later on to the United Arab Emirates, which is where like Dubai is and Abu Dhabi. But anyways, I'm seeing like, how the internet is, it blows up, and I'm seeing all these like White Claw, White Claw, White Claw. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this weird thing? I'm like, this is like, what the fuck is it? And I'm like asking my boys back home, like, because they're all like, they're all like beer drinkers. Then all of a sudden they're on this White Claw thing. I'm like, what the, like, I only drink White Claws now, dude. White Claws are awesome. And so I'm like all hyped about it, because like, I'm like, oh, dude, when I get home, I'm gonna have a White Claw for the first time. Yeah,
you want to
ever.
experience what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. So like the trend's like already over. Everyone's over White Claws, and I get home, I'm like, White Claws, where they at? And I actually have a buddy, or I have a video of the first time I ever tried a White Claw, and like I'm sitting there, and like my buddy's filming me. I crack it open and I take a sip. He's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, this is not. Like I thought it was gonna be way better than this, like, because it was so hyped up.
Yeah.
I was like, this doesn't.
Yeah, that's always the worst when that happens. When like you experience something that everybody hypes up and it's supposed to be this big deal, and it's not.
It was definitely disappointing. I was like, that's a White Claw? Like, are you kidding me? Like, and I don't know, because I was like, just seeing it all over the internet, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait to try this thing. Like, everyone's all over these things, and then I get back like expecting this great new drink, and it's just like average. It's like watered down raspberry or whatever flavor you're drinking.
I feel like the internet hype definitely kills a lot of stuff. Like
for sure,
not as good, especially with music too. I mean, mostly with radio. But I remember like when White Claws first started, I'm kind of like, my personality is, if something is like a big, like, if it's like really popular, I won't like indulge myself in it, because like I just want to be like the outsider who, no, I've never seen that, like just for some stuff. And so after it died down, I start, it wasn't maybe until the pandemic started that I, finally cracked open a White Claw and tried it. And, it wasn't that bad. But as I started, or looking at getting more exposed to like the labels on food packaging and everything, I immediately, White Claw is a go-to drink because it's only 100 calories. It's not it's the healthiest option out there for me. And that's what I liked about it. I still don't understand the hype, but a couple of them do the job. That they
for
do
sure.
their job. That's the most important thing. Just do your job.
I'll definitely throw down some White Claws, but like, I don't hate them by any means. I just like, it was so disappointing, because I thought it was gonna be like this fucking amazing thing, and then like, it's just like, to me, it's just average. You know what I mean? Like, like White Claw or Corona or White Claw or whatever. It's like, I don't care. It's like, give me whatever. I'm not gonna be like, dude, White Claw, I need a White Claw. It's like, oh, you got White Claws, dope, I'll have one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last thing like that like I was super bummed out about was probably Batman versus Superman. When that came out, that was just a great disappointment.
Such a disappointment.
Yeah. And like I think right now my favorite streaming site is HBO Max. Like, I love it. Like, there's so much stuff on there. And like, I wanted to rewatch all the DC movies, and I did, but when I got to the Batman versus Superman, I said, I am not wasting 2.5 hours of my life. I am not going with it. But that was probably the biggest disappointment, because that was just so like, I was hyped up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, I like Ben Affleck as an actor. He has a lot of good movies like The Town, Gone Girl. But that just wasn't my wasn't my movie.
Yeah, that was definitely a disappointment.
Yeah, like, and now they have like 5 different Batmans. So I know they have the Robert Pattinson one is coming out this year. So we'll have to see how it is. But I don't know. It's weird not having, like, at least for me, since I love movies, it's weird not having like, like a movie theater to go to or something, like, for so long, or not having like any new ones. So like, I'm just rewatching a bunch. Like, I watched Coach Carter this morning. Great flick.
Yeah, classic.
But I want to memorize. I've always wanted to try to memorize that poem that's in there, just because like, I don't know. I like it a lot. I think it applies to a lot of different situations too. And especially as like, I feel like it means a lot more now that I'm getting older, that I can understand it than I did when I was like 12 when the movie came out or whatever. I feel like that happens with a lot of stuff too, especially with music, rap music. You start to understand what some of these terms they're using in the song mean. And you're like, oh shit, I was singing this in 5th grade. Like, no clue. Like,
I had no idea what I was talking about.
Like for example, dude, the song Lollipop by Lil Wayne. I liked it. I didn't know what it stood or what it, I didn't understand what it meant. The meaning of it. And it was a funny story, actually. I kind of fucked up too with my grandma, but I bought the ringtone on her phone. So that way it plays like when it was the one where if you're calling her, you hear the song. And so I bought it on her phone because I was like, nobody's calling my grandma. Like, who's calling her? And that's, and I was like 8 at the time. So completely oblivious, or whenever that song came out. I don't know the age I was, but I bought it, hooked it up on her phone, and then she dropped us off at my mom's school. We did all that, so I called it to see if it worked. It worked. I was pretty excited. I go, all right, I got to change it. When I see her the next day. Well, my dad ended up taking us to school the next day. Never got around to changing the ringtone. So for a year, my grandma, who I think was 70 at the time, had Lil Wayne's Lollipop playing for whenever somebody would call, and she was always like, she still tells me people would call and they're like, who is this? Jenny, is this you? She's like, yes, my grandson put this. And that was probably, I mean, looking back, that was probably the best 99 cents I spent like during that that time of my life, man. But hey, thank you very much for coming on the show. I got to get going. But I'm super excited to get to talk with you post Marine, so I guess civilian life, I should say. Catch up with you during then. But yeah, man, thank you very much again for coming on the podcast. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. Just like I know a lot of the people around me do. And just thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate the opportunity, man. It was awesome.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed what you heard, and I hope you learned something. I know I did. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Follow the podcast on Instagram and go leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. I will be back on Thursday. Until then, keep working.
That's a crazy one.